All right, today we're talking about something big, a really fundamental shift in how we make software. We're going way beyond AI as just a helpful coding assistant. We're talking about AI as an actual autonomous teammate that can operate its very own computer. So let's dive right in.
So look, AI has gotten incredibly good at writing code over the last few years. We've all seen it. But there's always been this huge catch. I mean, what good is all that code if the AI can't run it, can't test it, or can't even see if the darn thing works? This has been the real barrier, the wall standing in the way of true AI autonomy in software development.
And that barrier, it's created what some people are calling the AI coding ceiling. It's that point where an AI's usefulness just hits a hard stop, all because it can't interact with the real world. This slide just says it all, doesn't it? The AI agent is basically trapped in a box. It can write all the functions at once, it can suggest changes, but it can't actually build the software. It can't open the app and click the button it just coded. It's like being a brilliant theorist who's not allowed in the lab. It just puts a serious limit on what it can actually accomplish on its own.
The first attempts to solve this involved local agents, AI running right there on your machine. But man, they quickly turned into a real headache. They were constantly fighting you for your computer's memory and CPU, creating all sorts of conflicts. The new idea is totally different. Cloud agents that operate in their own, completely separate environments.
So the huge insight here wasn't just about making the AI model smarter. It was about giving them a better place to work. The big breakthrough was actually giving these AI agents their own computers. I love this analogy. Think about it. Before, it was like we were asking a master chef to just write down recipes for us. Yeah, we'd get the instructions, but we'd still have to go buy all the ingredients, do all the chopping, all the cooking, all the tasting ourselves. Now we're giving that chef their own fully stocked kitchen. We're just telling them what we want, and they handle everything from start to finish. Okay, so let's get specific. What is a cloud agent? Well, it's an AI that has its own isolated virtual machine, a VM. This is basically its own private sandbox computer up in the cloud, and it comes with a complete development environment. That word isolated is so important. It means the AI can go nuts and build whatever it needs without messing with anything else. And this allows it to not just write code, but to build, to test, and this is the real game changer, to validate its own work. So here's what that new workflow actually looks like. A developer gives the agent a task. The agent then hops into its cloud sandbox and just starts building. It iterates, it fixes its own mistakes. It doesn't just hand you back its first draft. It actually validates and tests its work until it knows it's correct. And that last step is crucial. It delivers proof. We're talking videos, screenshots, showing you the new feature working perfectly.
So this all sounds cool in theory, right? But what does it look like in the real world? Let's do a quick-fire round of a few examples of how these cloud agents are already being used to build, fix, and test real software at a company called Cursor.
First up, building a totally new feature. And look at this prompt. This was not some simple change the color of a button request. The agent was asked to add source code links for every single component on a marketplace page, make them link out to the right place on GitHub, and even use a specific icon. That's a complex task. And its response was just remarkable. It didn't just write the code for the feature. To actually test it, it had to bypass a feature flag. Then it integrated its work with the main code base. And get this, it ran into merge conflicts with other code and resolved them by itself. Then it packaged everything up into a single, clean commit. I mean, these are complicated tasks that you'd normally give to a senior developer. Okay, check out this next one. This was kicked off right from a Slack message. The task? Investigate a security vulnerability where clipboard data was getting stolen. A pretty serious issue. The agent's response here was just amazing. It didn't just write a report. It actually built a web page to exploit the bug. It then hosted that page on a server, ran the attack in a browser to prove it worked, and then came back with a screenshot and a video as definitive proof. It didn't just explain the problem, it demonstrated it end to end. And it's not just for these huge, complex projects either. These agents are also being used for the day-to-day quick fixes. Things like this request to just make a text label in the app dynamic so it changes based on coding errors. But what's so impressive is how thorough it was. Yeah, the agent implemented the fix, and it even styled it to match the existing design. But then, it went a step further. It tested two different scenarios, one with a clean file and one with a file full of errors. And it recorded a video to prove that both cases worked exactly as they should. And you know what? These agents aren't just limited to writing code. They can also be your quality assurance testers. In this one instance, an agent was just told to do a complete, autonomous review of the company's entire documentation website. It spent 45 minutes on the job.
And it was methodical. It went through and tested everything a human tester would. The navigation, the search bar, every single button, the table of contents. It even tested switching between the light and dark themes, and it documented the whole process. So all of this, it all leads to one truly stunning number: 30%. This isn't just a cool experiment or a side project. Right now, at Cursor, over 30% of the pull requests getting merged into their code base are being created entirely by these autonomous agents. That's a fundamental change in how software gets built, and it is happening right now.
So, where is all of this going? This huge leap from simple assistance to full-blown autonomy, well, it points toward a future of what the source material is calling self-driving code bases.
This quote just nails the whole vision. We are moving from a world where developers use AI to generate little bits of code, diffs, to a world where you can task an agent with shipping a complete, fully tested feature, completely end-to-end. In this timeline, it really puts the speed of this change into perspective. Think about it. Just a few years ago, all we had was basic code autocomplete. Then we got agents we could work with side by side. Now, in 2026, we have these autonomous cloud agents. The next logical step really does seem to be entire code bases that are largely managed and built by AI. And this brings us to a really crucial point for anyone who works in tech. This kind of technology doesn't mean developers are going to be obsolete. Not at all. Instead, their job is going to evolve. It's going to be less about the tedious line-by-line implementation and way more about the high-level strategy, setting the direction, making the big decisions, and being the final call on what actually gets shipped to users. And that leaves us with this one massive question to think about. If AI agents can truly handle the entire process of building, testing, and shipping software, what does the developer of the future actually do? The very definition of that job is about to change, forever. What do you think that new role is going to look like?